discussion on applications of Coulomb's law. We all know what is Coulomb's law. So in Coulomb's law, the force is directly proportional to product of charges and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. And we all know what is design thinking. Design thinking is a process of understanding the needs of the user. Totally we have 5 stages in design thinking: empathy, define, ideate, prototype and testing. In empathy part, we will be finding out what are all the problems that is faced by the user. And in define part, we will be defining what is the actual problem statement, and ideate will be listing out the ideas to solve the particular problem. In prototype, we will be designing a prototype and we will be checking whether it meets the needs of the user in the testing part. If it doesn't meet the needs of the user, again we will be starting from the empathy part. It is an iterative process. So in today's session, we are all going to apply this design thinking on the applications of the Coulomb's law. Okay, let's start the discussion.
Myself Subhas, and I am going to explain about the empathy part. In this thing, we actually solve the real world problems. We need to analyze what are the problems actually happening around us regarding this Coulomb's law. For example, the dust accumulating on the surface of the electronic gadgets and other electrostatic forces which are happening around the world. Analyzing these problems, we need to select one problem and we need to find a solution for this, and by using the design thinking technique we can actually find this. Empathy part helps us to analyze the problems.
So as like we seen in the empathy part, we can clearly observe that the problem is with the electrostatic forces where the solution will be the Coulomb's law. We can see that the polluted air, there is a tiny particles, dust particles, which can be attracted and repelled using the electrostatic force. And also there is we know that electronic devices are very sensitive to the very fine dust particles. We can repel that using the static charges. So the result will be using the Coulomb's law, we can reduce the dust particles which is accumulated through the electronic circuits and polluted air.
Myself Rashni, I am going to discuss about the ideate stage in design thinking. Ideate is the third stage in design thinking. After understanding the problem clearly, we give solution first. And here these ideas include like designing an electrostatic precipitators to attract charged dust particle from the factory exhaust, and to develop an anti-static material by reducing charge accumulation, and to use a controlled charge distribution system in photocopies and laser printing, and optimizing space between charged components and to control the magnetic force. This helps to guide us where the charge should be placed near or far in the electrostatic field.
Myself Santosh. The prototype to build the model using the applications of Coulomb's law. The simple designs and simulations are created to test the ideas. For example, the basic model showing the attraction of bit papers to the charged rod, a simulation of electric force using variance between the distance, and making a mini electrostatic dust collector to collect the charged plates.
So I am Ramita. I am speaking about testing. For testing, the prototype is made and the observations are made. Question considered during testing are: is the electrostatic force sufficient to attract charged particles, and the distance between the charged particles reduces the effectiveness as predicted by Coulomb's law, and are there safety concerns due to high charge levels? Based on these results, the prototype is redefined by adjusting the charge magnitude and separation distance.
So here I wish to conclude by saying that applying that is design thinking process in Coulomb's law and real world applications helps us to learn from the theory part, which we are going to make it as real world application. It helps us to understand it helps us to boost the students' creativity and their practical thinking about this. In every step, the students tends to put their maximum efforts regarding empathy, define, ideate, prototype and testing. It helps the students to learn in depth the concept. Rather than the textbooks, this practical way of learning, creatively learn more about the subject.
So as we know that electrostatic force is commonly used to repel the dust particles and tiny particles. It is also used in the Martian rovers to repel some of the Martian dust. It is used in the solar panels to prevent to accumulate the dust in the solar panels. It helps us to absorb the energy from the solar and make the rover to run.
Okay, so we all had a discussion on design thinking approach on applications of Coulomb's law. So by understanding this Coulomb's law and by applying the design thinking approach, we'll be getting a more innovative solutions. Thank you all for your valuable points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.